Hey everyone, it's Bill Delaney, and I will be attempting my first podcast this morning for my novel experience. This one is entitled Remembering the Guillotine, Why Reading History and Historical Fiction Matters Now. So this podcast is going to be about the French Revolution and the Reign of Terror, and it will cover why it occurred and why that is so important to us today. It started as a cry for justice, but it became a warning written in blood. The French Revolution began with hope, liberty, equality, fraternity, and ended for a time with fear, suspicion, and the guillotine. It started as a cry for justice and became a warning written in blood. Every nation believes it can never lose its mind. France believed that too. And in 1789, men and women of every class rose against oppression and privilege. They wanted a voice in their government, bread on their tables, and dignity in their lives. But within just a few years, the very ideals that united them, liberty and equality, became weapons in the hands of those who claimed to defend them. Trust gave way to fear, and fear gave way to violence. And by 1793, France was ruled not by a monarch or a king, but by a committee, the Council of Safety, and liberty was guarded by the executioner's blade. The French Revolution didn't begin with cruelty. I believe it began with certainty, the conviction that only one truth was pure, and that anyone who disagreed was an enemy of the people's state. The guillotine became the instrument of virtue. Robespierre believed he was saving the Republic from a corrupt king, but in saving it, he destroyed the very freedom he meant to protect. That is the oldest pattern in history. When virtue becomes absolute, it becomes violent. Reading historical fiction reminds us of this. Human beings have not changed as much as we'd like to believe. Our tools evolve, our passions do not. The same pride, fear, and moral certainty that consumed revolutionary France live quietly in every society today, including ours. When anger becomes identity and purity replaces your dialogue, that's when we begin to hear the echo of the crowd and the guillotine's blade in the Place de Révolution. In the United States today, we're not facing a guillotine, but rather we're facing a choice. The French Revolution shows what happens when conversation can turn into accusation, when every disagreement becomes a betrayal, when the dream of justice loses mercy. And that's really why history matters. It gives us perspective. Maybe you could call it an extended view. It reminds us that the present isn't new, that others have walked this same dangerous road in the past. When done well, historical fiction enhances history books. It's doing what they simply can't. It's giving a heartbeat to previous eras and times. We smell the smoke and the rotting blood on the streets of Paris. We hear the shouts in the taverns of Dublin. And we feel the rough hands of farmers, sailors, soldiers, and peasants, all who struggled to define freedom in their own age. When we can live those lives through historical fiction, it helps us inherit their wisdom. We learn how fragile justice can be, how noble ideals can be twisted, and how ordinary people like us, can be swept into cruelty believing we serve some kind of strange virtue. The guillotine wasn't built in a day. It was pushed on a nation by a group of zealots, breath by breath. It was slowly constructed into the hearts of citizens. Every time fear replaced empathy, every time outrage replaced understanding. When we read historical fiction, we read stories that are born from history. They light a lantern against the kind of darkness that took place in the past. And I guess by remembering, we can choose mercy over fear, understanding over purity, and freedom over fanaticism. We can't stop human passion, but we can temper it with memory. We can remember what happens when Men are persuaded that a faulty cause is more important than their neighbors. And one of the ways you can reflect upon it is to get a history book, open it, read it, digest it. Or better yet, pick up some historical fiction. Feel what's happening in history by reading historical fiction. By doing that, you're going to learn. I'm William Delaney, and I'm reminding you that the past isn't really gone. Rather, it's a mirror or a rhyme with the present. And that rhyme is ours to reflect upon.